1, 2, 1, 2.
Are you fine with that there?
Oh, cool.
Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. Is that mine? Mine is overly sensitive. Okay, away. Here we go.
Sweet.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the On the Contrary podcast with Emilio, Tobias. Honestly, I'm surprised you are still listening. This podcast is so inconsistent, but I've just decided I'm gonna start doing guests. I understand that it might be a bit boring to listen to Emilio by himself speak for 40 minutes.
It's long.
It's very long, bro. I was actually impressed with myself. I looked at the time, I was like, yo, 45 minutes. Yeah.
It's a set.
There's like Dave Chappelle vibes, bro. But no jokes. So I have a guest for the first time, and we're on camera for the first time. So if wherever you're listening to this, it's also available on YouTube. I'm sure you'd prefer watching this on YouTube because it's the only place where I can possibly make money from this thing. My first guest, really, I had Calvin on before.
Is it?
Yeah, but there was no video. But then my memory card kept on running out. And then we speak for long, and then I saw it stopped recording. Then we had to go back, like, oh, let's go back to...
Oh, shit, okay.
Yeah,
Am I allowed to swear on you?
You can swear, bro.
Okay, but I'll keep it PC.
My first guest, also all the way from Durban. Very funny. Dave Chappelle's friend, Trevor Noah's friend. Who else is your friend, Robby?
L.E.S.
L.E.S is Robby's
I
friend.
love
AKA
L.E.S.
his friend.
AKA his friend. I was meant to be Casper's friend, but Caspper said when he met me at Dave Chappelle's show, he said he'd have put me in my music video, but I was already in the other guy's music video.
Conflict of interest.
But
There will be a fire relationship, bro. When you're angry with Caspper, you go chill with AKA. When you're angry with AKA, you post it on Instagram.
and tag the other one.
You play the other one's music. Anyway. Actually, I did want to talk about AKA a little bit, but that's going to be later in the conversation.
Okay.
Me and Robby had an argument the other day. Must have been late last year, so I've been holding on to this thing for long.
You keep these things to yourself. Huh? They bother you.
Not even.
I don't even know what the argument was about because I've argued you a lot of times. But I can see this thing bothered you for a good 12 months.
Robby called me a house nigga. Do you remember this? Do you remember?
I remember calling you a house nigga, but why did I call you a
Then
house
you were
nigga?
going on, and I said, do you know what, Robby? It's fine. You are very emotive right now. But like, as much as you're calling me a house nigga in front of all these people, the day when I get to say what I wanted to say, you're going to apologize to me in front of each and every one of these people.
Okay.
Hopefully they're watching.
Okay, how did it happen?
So,
Set the scene.
Robby said something like, Afrikaans is not a colored language. And it was a whole conversation of colored people in Durban don't speak Afrikaans.
Yes.
And they always felt like Afrikaans is like imposed on them by association. Just because colored people in Durban are also colored, people assume they must speak Afrikaans. And I said to you, you know what, actually, Afrikaans is a colored language. And then you snapped.
Yes, I did.
What
I
is-
remember that.
Before we get into the specific, what is your issue with Afrikaans specifically? And there definitely is an issue, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, what is your issue with Afrikaans specifically?
First of all, Emilio, welcome to my house.
What is Robby's house? This is his spare couch behind us.
No, so this is my problem. And it stems back to television. It's not so much that Afrikaans is used predominantly in colored communities and spoken predominantly in colored communities outside of KZN. The problem is that we are there's these stereotypes put to colored people and people of color in general that you have to live by. So I know when I say I hate Afrikaans, because I know Afrikaans does have Afrikaans people have a cool culture and stuff. But I'm like
White Afrikaner specifically.
and colored people. There's definitely a different culture with colored people who speak Afrikaans. My problem is that I have to be that for the rest of the country. Mm-hmm. That's my problem. So if you're gonna be a colored person in South Africa, you know how many times people say to me, So where about in Cape Town you from? just because you colored. I was like, bruh, I said in my joke I'm from Durban. Like in my
Today, bro, I wasn't making shit up.
yes. So my thing is when you have to be, you can't be yourself. You have to be what people think you want. They want you to be. So that you have to be in this box. Or you colored. You must speak Afrikaans and all these things. And I don't think Afrikaans is a colored language. I think it's a language that was given to us.
Okay. I'll tell you this, and this is what I was trying to say to you that day.
Tell me.
Afrikaans was created by colored people. And all this, like, colored people and all those people that were called colored people did to the Dutch language what American slaves did to the English language.
Yes, right. Yeah, because people are oppressed, make shit dope.
And also, we have a natural rhythm. We're going to put like an African swing on any European language you give us. Like, look at the way Black Americans speak English. To them, it's just a dialect or it's just slang. But here, what has happened is it has become a different language. Because of like languages, when they become different, look at like Zulu and Xhosa.
Yes.
Those are dialects, if we're going to be honest.
Yes.
They dialects of one another, and it's gotten to a point where they actually get classified as two different languages. So apparently what happened was, they were slaves. And like the thing that you're saying about Afrikaans and certain colored people being forced to speak Afrikaans, what a lot of people don't understand, and because you're from Durban, because I think Durban stands out the most, colored people aren't one race. And by that I don't mean that they mixed. I don't mean like in one colored person you can find like 3, 4, 5 different ethnicities or races or whatever.
Yes.
It's like me and Robby might both be colored, but I might be more related to any white person than I am to Robby.
Yes. And also we can be colored with different cultures.
Complete. You a different mix. You're brown and green. I'm orange and blue.
Yes. Also I know
You get what I'm saying?
Why I don't fuck with Afrikaans also is like there's a thing now we're gonna go deep. There's a thing with colored people where we don't embrace our initial heritage. It seems like we tend to embrace it more when we can gain from it.
Yeah.
And we had a difficult run during apartheid because we were made to feel like we should be more whiter and embrace our white side.
Yeah.
And I think Afrikaans maybe being a big thing in colored communities and colored people choosing to speak it was because you got along better with the buzz.
I hear what you're saying.
You get what I'm saying? So my grandmother, my dad's mother, is a black Zulu-speaking lady. Never met her. She passed away. She passed away when my dad was born, actually. So
because she slept with a white man.
No, you know it's actually crazy. Yo, I'm shaking. My grandmother Daisy burnt herself in that story because my grandfather was cheating on her with another black lady. And she found out. So my dad has 10 siblings. He's the fifth from my granny Daisy, and then my grandfather married again, and had another 5 kids from this lady who actually just passed away. But like, so the Zulu culture in our family is more embraced. But even so, it wasn't seen as a cool thing to do growing up or speaking Zulu. Even though my cousins and my father would speak Zulu around me, because you wanted to do English, because English is more white. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This thing of embracing who we are, rappers now rap in vernac. When I was growing up, you wanted to sound the most American or most white as possible. So this thing of embracing our African side, I think it's very new to colored people. I think Afrikaans does. I get what you're saying when you say Afrikaans is a colored language and you made it sound cool, because I can hear it, especially in Cape Town.
Like they took it from us and then sold it back to us, and not even sold, forced it upon us. Because like the story
didn't they give it to us?
No, bruh. The story apparently is I wasn't there. There were all these different types of slaves brought to the Cape of Good Hope. That's why you have like Cape Malay. Indian people were brought to Durban. They were slaves there.
Yes.
But the people that were working in the kitchens and on the wine farms and all of that there were from different races. They were different people.
But
And
do you know
were
why they brought
forced-
the Cape Malays?
I don't know, cheap labor. I don't know why exactly.
Because colored people in Cape Town, well, in the Cape, they worked on the wine farms, and then they were paid with alcohol. And then when the Muslim slaves came along,
They say we don't drink. That's fine.
they don't drink, so they could save on the Muslims.
Ah, okay. Economic decision.
Yes. So like also there's
So now check, ne?
yeah.
There's the Khoi and the San people and all those native, indigenous, South African people. Then there was the Cape Malays. There were slaves from wherever. These people were forced to be one.
Right.
At the time, they were still being like divided, but they were they were forced to speak Dutch. But what would happen when it's just us people of color or us black people, yeah? We speak that language how we want. We're all speaking with our own accents because we have our own native languages. But what happens is those languages get mixed.
Right.
Now we're speaking like a dirty Dutch.
I get you.
We're speaking like how an uneducated person would speak English. And we say that and not necessarily uneducated, someone who doesn't speak English.
Got you.
How they would speak English. Now they've broken this language so much and it's become a thing in those circles, in those groups. And that's how Afrikaans was formed. There's a lot of words. I checked on Wikipedia, I tried to research it. But there's a lot of words that have no Dutch or German descent. And you'll find like some of these words have like, what? Cape Malay is Malaysian. Are they from Malaysia?
I don't think so. It sounds like it sounds
sounds
like
like it should be.
It sounds like it should be, but I don't think it is.
So yeah, there's like even words from like Khoisan languages that are in Afrikaans.
Yes, but going back to me calling you a house nigga, I know that's not the best thing to call a person.
Yeah. No, it's because you didn't know this specific thing.
Yes, but also when you argue and you give advice or information, I don't know if it's your opinion or it's facts. There's a blurred line whether it's facts or opinion. Now there's more facts in what you're saying today. Also, we're not drunk.
Also, I only said one line and then you trip, bruh. I said,
I think
Afrikaans is a colored language. Boom. And I understand why you tripped. But also, I said, let me give you 2 more sentences, bruh. 2 more. You wouldn't understand, bruh. I know like something, I might be doing it subconsciously, but I know I'm saying like, what do you call it? Clickbait.
Yes.
Like I speak in clickbait. Like I give you just enough to be curious, but sometimes it's too much information.
And to be upset. But it's because I think the arguments that we had sound like you were in favor of...
It sounds like I was defending white people.
Yes. There we go. Sound like you're defending white people because also with giving Afrikaans to slaves and all that shit, they gave Afrikaans, but they also took so much.
Yeah.
The reason why Afrikaans was given was because they just didn't even want to make the effort to learn our language.
True.
So it's like, so I get how we can make it sound cool now, but initially it wasn't given with love. It wasn't like, we weren't taught these things in schools or like, you know what I mean? Like reading off the board, oh, this is Afrikaans. The way it was enforced on us was done in a very violent way and malicious way. So us taking it, when I say us colored people, even though I don't speak Afrikaans, we took it for survival. We didn't take it out of like, oh, this is nice.
I think like the thing, you're 100% correct, bro. Because they forced Dutch on us.
Yes, they forced Dutch. I get you.
And then they're like, yo, these people are speaking Dutch wrong. Eventually, let's just speak with them the way they want to be spoken to. I feel like they met us halfway. And then they appropriated this new thing.
White people never meet you halfway. They will never ever meet you halfway. You gotta take 5 taxis to meet a white person.
But like even if you check like Youngster CPT's album, no?
Right.
Like that's a very colored album, bruh. And like I don't think colored rappers have been embraced like that since the 90s. There was like a group from Cape Town, I don't remember the name, with like a fat guy.
Exaliopus. Yeah.
Those guys.
Yeah. I know those guys.
But like, I don't feel like there's space for colored people or colored culture specifically to be embraced in South Africa. And I understand
Not yet.
There might be bigger things going on at the moment. But like, I spoke to some of my black friends, and they had a problem with the content of the album because it had a tinge of, no, I'm not black. I'm not black. I'm colored. There's still that tinge of, I choose to be colored because it's closer to white. And some of the phrases in there where he was like, and it's his grandfather that's speaking really. Because like, older people know exactly what was going on. Even some of the stuff you're telling me now is like, there's no way I could know those stuff.
Yes.
Because people forget, society moves on, but like the old people still know. So like, youngster CPT's grandfather calls
He's another friend.
Oh, youngsters, Robby's friend.
You were at Daisy's with us last year?
But I never chilled with youngsters.
You didn't chill
I
with
wasn't
us?
there the night before.
Oh.
He was there the night before.
When Emilio stole a full bottle of Jägermeister.
That's not an admission of guilt. That's his word against mine. But it was nice. A full bottle, like the master, big size.
It wasn't even open. So, this is my thing. You know, there's a lot of things that previously oppressed people. When I say who are not black, so in this country there's Indian and colored before black, who say a lot of racist things.
Yeah.
I was having this conversation with Lazola Gola, and he was just saying in Cape Town how lots of racist things said to him came from colored people and not white people, because in Durban, Indian people say a lot of racist things. And why I think, because you don't live around white people, so you deal with the other oppressed people who have it better than you. So in Durban, there's white people who have their communities in the suburbs. Then there's the Indian hood, colored hood, black hood. So I'm in more contact with the Indian person who's saying racist things, because they think they have it better. They do have it better than me. And Cape Town's the same thing, where it's white, colored, black. So now colored has it better than black. So they saying a lot of things. That thing, the fact that colored people are split, families are split by hair texture. Yeah. You know that saying of Cruz Hara, bruh? You know how many times you heard that shit growing up? And because of my dad's side and also my mom's side has a lot of black, my hair's been more black. Where cousins have literally said cousins of mine have said the most racist things about hair. So families are split by the hair. So immediately, even though this isn't the white man's words, it's coming from them, but it's coming through your own people.
I actually have an episode called "Are Indian People Racist?"
Indian people are...
Definitely they are. Colored people, just the same. And my thing was, the analogy I used was, if your parents have 3 kids, a black kid, an Indian kid, and a colored kid. If your parents treat the colored and the Indian kid better than the black kid, they're going to hate each other. They're not going to hate their parents.
Yes.
They're going to have beef with each other. They're going to enforce what was installed in them. Like, so even though...
Totally. You don't go to your parents. You're not going to swear your mother.
So I tell people, and this is not excusing any actions of colored people or maybe even Indian people, even though colored people are racist towards black people, they are still victims in the thing.
Yes.
They were taught that.
Totally. That's why I have sympathy for a racist white person over 50.
Yeah, I hear you.
I don't know if it's maybe sympathy is not the word, but I have understanding. I understand your racial remarks.
Still slap the shit out of you, but it's with love.
Yes. Come at me and you under 30 and say some racist shit, then I have a problem.
Excuse, yeah.
There's no excuses there. But at the same time, there are excuses because we know how shit is passed on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yes, you go, yeah, but if you're 30 years old, you should have grown up in the new democracy. Which I get, but the rules you are living by were still created way before you're born. Yeah, we find ourselves still living in these rules of of shit that we weren't even alive for that shit. And we find ourselves still...
We are prisoners of those social constructs that were created so many years ago.
Totally, dude. Totally. So there's so many things. Loiso Gola has that show, Unlearning. And there's so many things. It's not really learning about new things in life. It's unlearning all the bullshit you've taken on in life. There's things that I'm sure you do that your parents did or your grandmother said or did, and you find yourself saying it or believing that shit, and you go, I don't even have a basis. Why am I even down with this thing?
I recently had to, not recently, like a few years ago.
You slapped your grandmother?
No.
No, I'm joking.
Some of the older people in my family does use the word,
The
K word specifically, but I'll get to that if it's necessary. I recently had to learn that, like 5 years ago. Like, just because I'm not racist doesn't mean I can't make racist jokes. Because back in high school and a little bit out of high school, like, Facebook memories will show you who you are, bruh. Like, there's some stuff I said that's like, no one must see this, bruh. At the time, bruh, no one reacted or anything.
Yes.
Because, like, literally it was a racist joke. But, like, in my mind, it was like, because I'm not racist, it shouldn't be a problem that I make a racist joke. Because my friends and I used to make racist jokes to each other. Like my black friends. They'd say something racist to me, I say something racist. And it was in that circle. But as you grow older, you realize, no, bruh, the world is bigger than that. And
so would you be comfortable saying a joke that's borderline racy on stage?
I'm learning how to do it. I tried in the beginning. Like, I had a thing where I said, like, you'll realize, like, both colored people and black people don't know how to read. We equally as bad at English. And I'm not referring to Durban colored people whose first language is English. But, like,
yeah, but Durban colored people have also fucked up English for themselves. For ourselves.
Yeah, they slangified that thing strong, bruh.
Yeah.
So, like, it's like, I said that line, but every time I said it, people were hearing me say, black people can't read.
Yes.
And that's not the point of me saying that. So I realized I still have a long way to go to, like, if I want to say something like that, how to deliver it with showing that I'm sensitive to the thing.
Got you.
Because sometimes you have to, like, spoon feed people things. Like, it's not like, I shouldn't expect other people to know that I'm not racist.
Right. But there's also a thing of, because knowing races and saying, this is a thing, it's okay to say we have a difference. I don't think there's a problem. If we have a difference as races and you do something differently because of your culture and your upbringing, that is fine to bring up. I don't think it's a problem. The problem is when I've treated you differently because of our difference and our cultures. I think it's perfectly fine to say, yo,
or if I think you're less than me based on, because sometimes it's like,
because that's human things, right? Like, we see a thing, okay, that's different to what I do. That is perfectly fine. Like, culture, I'm sure I've never been, but I'm sure the culture in China and how the way people live there is totally different to how it's done here in South Africa. And that's fine to state that. I think the difference is when you make, when talking about your experience of China, when you're making people feel shit or you taking away from them because it's different to you.
yeah.
But can I say something? You know what I realized? I realized this the other day. I don't know. I was sitting by myself and I was like, you know what? Everyone plays whites because playing whites was a thing to get through apartheid.
Yeah.
Even that happens throughout the world where the white culture or white race is seen as the race you want to aspire to. Yeah, strive to. People play whites, act black, act colored. I've never heard a person or seen a person want to act Indian.
I might have. In Durban, you know that big market where they sell flowers and shit?
By the workshop.
It's like I've been in once when I was a kid, but like in the middle of town, there's like a big fruit and vegetable market.
I know you're talking about. That's by the workshop.
Even some black people but also, the stories I hear of black people who work for Indian people, man. Hey, it's hard. So, and I don't want to perpetuate it because it's not. They may not say it as fact or it's
your opinion.
It's predominant. Like, I'm not even saying my opinion. I'm talking about stuff I've heard.
Yes.
But like at Plaza, at that place, I've seen like the black people who work for them try to speak like the Indian people there. Try to speak like them and try to negotiate like them.
Are they teasing Indian people or are they trying to?
you know, I don't know, bro. Because sometimes, it's like sometimes you tell someone, this is how you sell a suit. You first do this, then you do this, then you tell them. And then like, maybe it's also sometimes you're around a certain group for long enough and then you start to sound like them.
I hear that. Totally, I hear that.
Sometimes I say phrases in a black accent and I only catch it when I'm done. And I know I wasn't trying to do anything. That's just me, bro. Like, I grew up in Soweto, right? Yeah. For the longest time.
Okay, we're talking about, can I get another beer? Can I grab one?
Get a beer. Bring me one as well. Can you hear me? Let me talk while you are gone. No, it doesn't matter. I'll cut this. It's fine. So that was two colored guys who couldn't go any longer without getting more beer. Sorry, but we are back now.
You were saying how sometimes you'll catch yourself saying things with a black accent. And also I know like your upbringing from just being friends with you. I know you're around a lot of black people growing up, more than most colored people were growing up.
I'm around more black people than I am colored people.
Yeah.
Most of my family is black. Like, most of my father's side of the family is black. Then my mother's side is like colored until. But like,
so this is my thing. Have you noticed how? This why I have a problem with Afrikaans when I go like and I see Cape colored comedians. Some of them, not everyone does this, and I see it with black comedians as well, where they'll speak English and the punchline is said within this black accent or within this colored accent that almost makes the audience feel easier. So you go, sometimes I hear a punchline and I'm like, I don't know if the joke was funny, the punchline was funny, or that you enhance the thing of, there's a colored person saying it or a black person saying it. So you know what I mean? Like it's normal English. There's no accent, and then the punchlines hits in this accent, and you go, "Oh man."
I think it's twofold now. I mean, I look at it from a perspective of a audience person. Like there is the one where literally the only funny thing about the joke was that the punchline was a stupid black person saying something.
Right.
And that was the character. But sometimes I feel like, and it's particularly comedians that I like more, and maybe it's biased because I like them. But I think what the audience is seeing, the audience follows because they understand the life is like. We all live in the suburbs now. But when you do the accent, and if you do it in like a respectful and a reasonable manner, the audience goes, "Oh, I know people like that in my family."
That's what I think. But you see, this is the problem, is the way comedy creates itself naturally is you start a thing, right? A joke, or you start talking about something. Then the next comedian goes, okay, cool. Anal's funny because Emilio's making it funny. But you have a reason because you had an experience having anal with your girlfriend, for example.
Yeah.
Then the next comedian goes, oh, I can do an anal joke. Now,
disclaimer, I've never had anal.
Yeah.
Anyway, but okay.
So now the next comedian's doing an anal joke. But now the anal joke doesn't have truth in it. Now it's starting to sound a bit rapey. Now, you know what I mean? All these things. So that's how shit gets filtered down. So like, you will talk about colored people or black people, your experience, or I will do it. Then the other comedian will go, yeah, let me try a joke like that. But now it's not coming from a real experience. So now that's where this like weird, it gets watered down, and then now there's stereotypes on the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like when Trevor does a black accent or colored accent or an Indian accent, he chooses a specific type of person within that race. Yeah. Like when he does white people, he's not just doing white people. He'll choose.
He's doing a white person.
This is the Afrikaans farmer. This is that dude in an office or whatever it is. So he's not going the whole race as that. You can picture the individual. But now when people hear it and they don't know how to do a thing properly, now it's just like, I'm just going to make an Afrikaans accent, or I'm going to just make myself a stupid Zulu-speaking guy because I thought that's what Trevor was doing. Meantime, Trevor is telling you like a real thing. This thing is falling.
A lot of people start comedy. Sorry, Robby. Do you want to unclip it?
It's cool. I got it.
A lot of people start comedy because of how Trevor Noah or Dave Chappelle made them feel when they watched it. So they want to just manufacture that, not realize that like some of it skills took 10 years to develop.
Yes.
You think you can just do it because Trevor Noah made you feel so special. He made you feel like you are right there.
Yes, and like when Chappelle says faggots on stage, he's saying it to shock you. There's a purpose behind using that word.
Yeah.
Even though the backstory of that word is a very evil story. You know what I mean? Like, you know where it comes from, faggots?
No, I don't.
Oh, like throwing gay people in burning people. That's why like British people, like English people will say, can I have a fag? It's a light. So that's where it comes from.
So
burning gay people, pretty much.
So a fag is like a galley. Do you know what a galley is?
Yes. I that's what it was back then. But obviously, because of what happened to gay people back then, it became a derogatory slang term for them. And even though Chappelle's using it, and I know the history of the word now, and I see how evil it is, but I get why he's hitting you with the word. So now if a comedian without the experience and doesn't know what they're doing,
just thinks they can say that on stage.
Now you're just saying faggot, then you're just like, yo, bruh, this thing is, you're not trying to, you're not using it in the right way. It's not to take, the way Chappelle's using it isn't to take away from
gay people.
Yes. Yeah.
I have like a gay joke that I feel is like gay people will love this joke, bro. And I had a conversation with a gay guy after I did this gag. I won't say it. Come see my shows. I'm touring South Africa next year, maybe. No, this year. This is coming out in Jan. But anyway, like then I spoke to the gay guy about it afterwards, and he said like, although like while I was speaking, he wanted to speak out and shout at me because his instinct was to be offended. But he's like, let me just keep quiet. Let this guy finish. I'll sort him out later. And then that made the conversation so much better. Because I could tell, you could say to me, oh, I thought this is what you were trying to say. But then I'm like, but you realize that actually the words that you are saying never came out of my mouth.
But big ups to him to also hear you out.
To hear me out, yeah.
Because you could have ruined your set.
You could have really ruined my set. Because like, my thing is that as long as it's not coming from hate, and not to go into cancel culture, but as long as the thing is not coming from hate or from trying to belittle someone, you might have set it up wrong or said the wrong thing and it came across a certain way. You should be given a chance to explain it. Like, that's not what I mean. I maybe hit a misstep.
Yeah. I totally hear you. But the thing is with oppressed people have been oppressed. And like we say previously disadvantaged, but I feel like previously should be taken out.
We're still
disadvantaged. Like, don't be fooled. But I think depending who you, it's a lot easier for us to laugh at apartheid than a person with actual scars from apartheid. I have an uncle from Aldo's who was living in Soweto from my dad's side. He was there for Soweto uprising. Got a bullet wound and everything, bruh.
On the day.
Uncle Joey, yeah, got a bullet wound and everything. And he, like if I did apartheid jokes that I do in front of him, I don't know how he'd feel.
Yeah, bro.
Because you can't tell a person, atrocities might not end for the person who experienced them.
Yeah.
You can't be like,
still in it, bro. PTSD is a real thing, yo.
Yeah, dude. So it's like, there's a lot of that shit. There's a lot of people that still have so much resentment to apartheid because of where they are in life, struggling. So it's like for us to laugh at it, like my dad wanted to be an engineer, he became a plumber because black and colored people weren't allowed to study engineering. You know what I'm saying? So like, there's lots of people, lots of our families who had to make do with what they have. So there's certain things I understand if a person goes, Like I understand if a gay person goes, even though you coming with the most genuine, sincere heart, where a person goes, nah, I'm cool with it. And that's fine. But that's also fine for me to say it. We can disagree.
Yeah.
The thing
There was some stuff that I disagreed with. I was like, nah, bro, that's not even close to what I said.
That's fine, but the cool thing is that there's a conversation happening. That's the cool, because you can still respect him and go, I don't agree with you, but I respect and I see where you're coming from. Because there's people where I can generally go, okay, cool, I don't agree with you. I think you're being over the top, but I respect what you're saying. Then there's people I'm just like, you just heard a word and now you wrote off the whole thing.
You finally you thought you caught me saying something wrong. You were waiting for me to say something wrong.
Yes.
There are those people.
I remember I said that joke about going to a gay club and not knowing I'm in a gay club until I walk in. And then I could feel like when there's gay people in the audience where they'd look at me like, oh, this is going to be derogatory. And then you explain how much fun it was. Then they go, oh, yeah, cool. Because it was fun. I'm not just making it up. But
sometimes, do you know what I feel bad
But they're
for?
always expecting the negative.
Do you know what I feel bad for? Okay, before I get to whatever. Me and Titi once spent an hour in a gay club and didn't notice. And it was only women. It was only lesbians, bruh. We didn't notice, bruh. When we went into the bathroom, we realized, yeah, man. Have you seen a guy in the past hour, bruh? It was like open nights or something like that, bro. We went to a club, bro. We had no idea, bro. An hour in, bro. And we were there to Mac, bro.
I used to go to gay clubs with Lottering. He used to take me to gay clubs, like in Cape Town. And I used to have the most fun, bruh. There were ladies.
Free drinks.
Also, the ladies that are there, if they see you with your gay friends, they immediately go, you're not that danger guy.
Yeah.
You more open mind. You know what I mean? There's a thing. When you walk in there
Don't
with
give away too much. Those danger guys are listening, and you're giving them strategy now.
Now they're hiring gay friends. so now, so that's the thing. Like, the thing is, people want to be angry. I've noticed that. I think people's first reaction is anger, then understanding. So you want to go, and it comes from experience. So I'm sure a gay person in their 30s has been called a lot of horrible things.
Yeah.
So when you mention gay people, their first thing is, like if you watching
It's
a
like
white person.
if you hit the dog every day, and it just takes it, the day you decide not to hit the dog, and the dog attacks you, now it's like, now we blame the dog now.
Gay people are not dogs.
That's not what I said.
No, but that's the whole thing. If I was watching a white comedian, and I've seen it when I watch white comedians, and they start going on black people or colored people, then I'm like, and very seldomly do I go,
Yeah.
very
Most of the time it was the wrong decision.
Yes, most of the time I'm going, you motherfucker. It's like you just killed it for me right now.
And I'm not even going to entertain you by telling you why you were
Yes.
wrong. Because you're not going to listen with your white attitude.
I'm tired of explaining to white people the shit they say that is wrong. Bruh.
Hold the mic nice there, Robby. That's why no one could hear you on Mojak Lioko's podcast.
Promoting Mojak Lohoko.
What is it called? Tell us more.
Tell us more.
So I'm going to have Mojak on soon. He said he really wants to be on my podcast and he's going to invite me when he is.
Yeah, I don't know. This is the longest I've spoken to you without arguing in life, I think.
We did argue a little bit, but there's no audience. Do you know when there's an audience, guys, when there's an audience, people are different people.
That's true, eh? And also you're saying things, you try to argue and diss the person.
Yeah.
Because you try to entertain the others around you.
And now you think of, like you see now I made an example with the dogs. If there were people here, Robby had the opportunity to say, are you saying gay people are dogs, bruh? Now we're having a different conversation now. And there's some people who only heard that piece.
Yes.
Oh, you're saying gay people are dogs? Hey, Emilio is always arguing with people. Hey, what's wrong with Emilio? But anyway.
You love arguing is a thing for you. It's your natural reaction.
It's not even that, bruh. Like, I cannot. And you know, like, me and Mojak have spoken about, like, my condition. And I think it gets me more than anyone right now. But it's like, I can't keep quiet if someone is saying something wrong.
I get you. And that's
Like
not a bad thing.
it hurts me, bro.
That's not a bad thing, but it's a tiring thing.
It's tiring. And it's, bruh, like, it works on my soul also, bruh. It's not nice, like, to always disagree with people, bruh. But also, a lot of people walk around just talking stuff they know nothing about, and no one ever challenges. People are such nice people, bruh. Many people say, bruh, why does it even bother you? If he's wrong, he's wrong. Just let him go.
But
That's the thing that I don't have.
I get you, but that's my thing. That's my thing with a lot of white women right now, more so than white men. White men have, yes, they are still.
They have no excuse.
They
They
have
know
no excuses,
they're wrong. Yeah.
but they've taken responsibility in a way. I feel there's a fear. There's a fear when you tell white men things in South Africa. White women have this thing of, no, not us. Like and that's the frustrating part.
The white in them is making the most of the female card.
Yeah, but even I get especially in this country, what women have gone through this year particularly, and every other year.
Yeah, women haven't went through anything special this year. This has been going on.
We now just got social media to see everything.
Yeah.
But my thing is, I get that, but there's a lot of times where I find white women complaining to men of color about their oppression, and I'm like, yo, bruh, you still have it better than me.
Titi said this line like, no black man has ever oppressed a white woman in the history of the world.
And everything you're complaining that men are doing, your father and grandfather made the rules.
Go tell your father.
Go tell your father. Have you spoken to your dad before you came to me? You can't, you can't, like, you must understand, men of color are living by the rules created by your fathers and your grandfathers. And like this, so I get.
Although you want in control of your journey, but who is sleeping next to that white man in that big house?
No, but this is.
Do you get what I'm saying? Who is he dragging along with him?
Yes, totally. But it's Michelle Wolf said it in a new special where she said white women now want to have jobs and equality, but while you're at home chilling, black women were working the worst jobs just to survive. Now you want to come out of nowhere and go, yeah, but I want the same thing. So it's almost like I get it, and you deserve the same thing. That's the thing. But my problem is that when you were having a good life, you were fine with it.
I think it's like, that reminds me of Gandhi. It's like, Gandhi was fighting for the oppressed, but the people who were lower than him socially, he didn't give a fuck about, bruh. He would do the same thing to black people what white people were doing to Indian people.
Gandhi is quoted for saying K words a lot of times, bro.
Don't treat us
like the K
like
words.
the blacks. We are not blacks. We are not white. So there's even that subservient nature in your revolution. Like, we know we're not white, but please don't treat us like the others.
Yes, you're not fighting for equality of all men and women. You're
fighting for yourself.
Can I just be better off than that one?
Yeah. And I think that's, do you know, I want to run this by you and I want to hear what you think. Like, the biggest thing taken from colored people by apartheid, which I think I think I feel this way maybe because I'm colored, so I am biased a little bit. Colored people got their culture and their history taken from them. Like, if you look at Indian people, they were brought here as slaves, and it's not a nice way to come to a place at all. But they still have their religion and their culture for the most part. That's why the Indian community has grown to where it is. And I understand there's still a lot of poor Indian people around the country. But like, there's so many Indian doctors for a reason. There's something culturally that's happening that is helping them get out of the circumstances, but bit by bit. Colored people have no one to look back on. The closest thing colored people have to like generational knowledge or anything like that there is the Bible.
Wow. Yeah, I get you.
So like, black people, the most oppressed, and if we look at stats, are still the most poor people in South Africa. But they do still have their culture. Like that thing of your father telling you a man does this or a woman does this. Even that, like, we might look at that as patriarchy, whatever. But now you're being taught something that is generational and is tried and tested.
But I think for I totally agree with you. But I think for colored people, it was a way of like flushing out the tradition or the culture. So you had to make choices. If you were dark skinned with nappy hair, you were treated like a black person. If you were stereotypical colored looking person, you were colored. And then if you were lighter skin, straighter hair, you could try and get more into the white world. So like over generations, you lose the thing because you're not trying to find the thing. You're trying to find the next new thing.
Yeah.
So you're trying to survive in this world that's not accepting of you or any brown, black person. So you're just trying to find your way through this fucking maze. Whereas in black people, because they're at the bottom, I think they had to go, we've got to hold on to our thing. Like they were almost so low.
Colored people have a false head start.
Yes, where it's fucked us over. Because now even like when you look back at fortunately growing up, my dad would always take us to the farm to be around our cousins and stuff because he grew up on the farm. So we're very much involved in that, so you know it. But when we went back to school and the white schools, when we were allowed into white schools, you weren't talking about that shit. You know what I'm saying? So that was just shit you knew. Like my father almost showed us just go, okay, I know where I'm from, but what am I doing with that?
You know what the funny thing is about the way I grew up is that like my black side of the family were the well-off side of the family. And that's such a strange dynamic whenever someone tried to put me down for my blackness. Or like when kids at school found out that I lived in Soweto, because I went to school across the street from my other grandmother's house,
right,
in Aldos. So when people found out like that I actually stay in Soweto, they tried to make fun of me. But my thing was like, yo, bruh, our house in Soweto is better than all of your houses here.
Yeah.
Not even that I'm a materialistic person, but if I'm gonna compete in the game that you're competing in, I'm still winning, bruh.
Yeah. It's like color people like flats. Flats.
I always tell, never glorify the hood, bruh.
But it's not. I get that. Don't glorify the hood, but also the hood is a special place.
Be proud of where you come from.
Oppressed people create shit like no one else, bruh. Like when you think of a bunny chow,
look how proud we are.
A bunny chow created. I don't have anything. I'm gonna make whatever I have
and put it in bread.
Put it in bread, and I can have this thing for the whole day. I don't need a plate.
I don't wanna make dishes.
I don't. A biryani. Biryani is taking everything that's in the house.
Yeah, I know that story of biryani. My thing is like, look at gangsterism, né? Gangsterism is.
But that's throughout the hood.
It's largely, gangsterism in the colored community is more rife than in the black community. Regardless of that, we glorify something like gangsterism, but the people that glorify gangsterism and that culture that was created, glorified because that's our thing. We made something out of nothing. Do you get what I'm saying?
But it's also glorified because, dude, we live next to the drug dealers. Like, you knew people who were dealing drugs, like, but you also went. Obviously, my mom would be like, "Don't hang out with those boys because it's dangerous." But she went. I've had this conversation with my mother. She also knows the suffering to go. I see that the next thing to do, if every door's closed, and the drug door opens, and you see money and clothes and cars, bro, I'm walking through. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I didn't even finish school, if I didn't have comedy, I think I might have gone down that path, because it looked dope. Like, those guys also looked after people in the hood.
I hear you.
Drug dealers used to, they in Durban, this guy Eunice, he was shot outside a shopping mall.
Eunice is a pseudonym, it's not his real name.
But I was good friends with Eunice's son, and Eunice every Friday after mosque, he had pots of biryani, bruh, and he just feed the whole street, Sparks Road in Durban. And it was crazy, dude. Like, when he was shot, people were genuinely sad. I'm talking about old ladies, everything, because that was, yes, I'm sure he had rivals in the drug community.
And I'm sure he's killed a lot more people than he fed.
I didn't say that.
No, I'm just guessing, bro.
No, but I get you, but to the community, you go, but this homie also built shops.
There's definitely more to it, bro. I won't lie to you, like
Pablo, you know people cried when Pablo Escobar died, bro.
I probably used to like give people, here's 10,000. Why don't look at me funny? Go buy yourself sweets. Like, I get it, bro. And I like, even like studying film, bro, we went into like what a gangster is, especially like the gangster genre of films. Gangsters are family people, bro. Gangsters are religious. This is now original Italian.
Yes, they're very religious.
They're very religious, specifically Catholic, Italian, all those things. They love their family, anything for their family. Family comes first. So there is that basis. Even now, bruh, you get like on amongst these. I know that like they say, like Zulu hitmen. What do they call them in Kabi?
Yeah,
I know what the name is exactly. They say Zulu hitmen. There's a code of honor that like, if I come to kill you, I only kill you. We don't touch each other's families. So even like in the taxi industry, when people are killing each other, we only kill you. We can tie your family up and whatever. So there's like a, how do I put it? The people who are into killing each other, let them kill each other. Leave the rest of us out of it.
You know, it's always fun. I get you, but in every gangster movie, the part that always scares people is when before I do a business deal with you, and then the guy goes and starts naming your kids and which schools you go to. You can always see a person go.
How's your granny doing?
How's bingo? Yeah, bro.
How's your daughter? I heard she did well in grade 1, huh? It would be a shame if she didn't make it to grade 2.
Like Pablo Escobar like memorized everyone's daughter's grades.
On the whole logistic chain, bro.
I think that's the scary part. Because, dog, I promise you, a lot of people would have taken that road if they didn't know the consequences of shit.
Who do you think is smarter? I can't even think of a specific person. But let me say, between Bill Gates and Pablo Escobar. If Pablo Escobar applied his genius, well, like logistics is not an easy job, bruh. Pablo Escobar is doing the exact same thing that Coca-Cola is doing now.
I get you.
And Coca-Cola is a logistics company. That's what.
Yeah, but Pablo was doing an illegal thing.
Cool. So if Pablo was doing something legal, probably not as much because drugs are a big business, but it's not an easy business. Not easy.
And also you're paying tax. Pablo is making what, over 30 mil US dollars in a day,
and no tax.
No tax. Pablo had a taxi company that only had 3 taxis. That's what he paid tax for in Medellin. So he's just
and
like,
how much revenue did those 3 taxis bring in? Like 30 million a year. Damn, nigga, yo.
What are you doing? So it's just like, so
that's if you take an Uber from South Africa to Egypt.
So that's the thing where you go, okay, cool. I get it. Pablo is very creative, but Pablo also comes from nothing. So I get that your creativity when you're poor has to be 100 times more than the well-off person.
Yeah.
Even the middle-class person isn't even touching that creativity. So I get that. But it's like,
some of these people are going to make it anyway. That's what I think, bro. Especially if it's someone as iconic as that, bro. Cool. No one's okay with the people that he killed. But I mean, like, it's not that takes brain power, bro.
Totally.
That the conventional educational system might not be able to.
I think Bill Gates was a genius and is a genius. And Pablo is also a genius. The difference between the two is the one is kinder. That's, you know what I mean? Like Bill Gates, what he's doing now with toilets and all that stuff.
Yeah, Bill Gates is doing the most.
But also at the same time, Pablo, nobody was even asking for it. Pablo just went and built housing communities in Medellin. He built churches. You know what I mean? Like he also did a lot of good things for the community.
Yeah.
So, like Bill Gates almost got so rich, he went, I gotta do nice things.
How
'Cause
how
Pablo-
how old would Pablo have been now?
He'd probably be in his 60s. He died in 94.
Oh,
He was in his late 30s. Yeah, he'd probably be in his 60s.
wow. Some of his stories seem so far, bruh.
I've got the book here. His son wrote. Like, his son said the show Narcos on Netflix, they didn't even explain like half of like how crazy Pablo was and with his power and shit and what he did and everything. You know what I mean? So it's like Pablo's biggest problem was wanting to do politics. Like they'd have let him get away. Once as he got into politics, then they're like, no, man.
No,
you can't do both. You can't.
You see, you really love people, and I get that, bruh. Like, I never finished Narcos, but I watched the part where he got arrested for something stupid, and that was the thing that made him unable to run for president. Or else you would have made it.
He handed himself in for trafficking.
No, there was a small thing.
It wasn't even that. It was something stupid where the
He
picture
got
where he
booked
smiles.
and he made fun of the police, and he was...
He actually, they said he must go. He didn't have to go. Then he went in and he took the whole, he took the mug shot. That's the famous one. So when he went into politics, they showed that picture.
Because you have a criminal record for this small thing.
Yeah.
That is weird, man. Okay, we almost at an hour.
Is it? Jesus.
But this is what I want to talk about in closing or whatever. What do you think AKA means to South Africa? And he is a colored person, but from where I'm sitting, he's embraced by black people a lot. He's shown a lot of love for Africa, for black culture. Like, colored people love black culture a lot, bruh. Colored people listen to house music, listen to quieter music.
Because it feels
like
more natural.
Everyone, they might not like black people as much as they love black culture.
Black culture is the most imitated shit in the world.
Yeah.
Black American culture, more so, is the most imitated thing in the world. Like, everything that black people have touched, they've made it cool. Like, they might not have made money off it.
With the Ozymandias of people.
Yes. Timberlands are work boots. Those things, that's what Timberlands are. They're the coolest thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'll give white people Levi's. Jeans were supposed to be overalls. Now it's a fashion thing. But
Yes,
I wouldn't be surprised if black people made it cool.
yes, they will give white people Levi's, but they gave it to us just as jeans. We changed the things.
We changed the game.
So it's like, so AKA, first of all, is people don't realize how long he's been in the game for. He used to be in a group. I remember seeing him on
Embassy or what?
yeah, something like that. There were two other dudes. Entity. And I remember seeing this dude. You're still in high school, I think. Because AKA went to Mojack's. Was in Mojack's.
Primary school.
Mojack and Pops.
Mojack and Pops.
So, like, he's been in the game for long. Switched it up. I think AKA's only problem with his career, but I think he sorted it out, is that he used to get too vocal on social media.
Is that not the thing that, like, puts you in front of more people, bruh?
No, it does, but I think that's the only thing where people can say negative things about him from his social media, from his temper, and he even says it. He even says it in a song. My legal team stamina my Twitter feed, something. Yeah. But it's like I think he's also made it cool to take hip hop and give it a South African groove. He is doing that. Like, his people, whoever's making his beats, I think it's the guy who plays keyboard in his band, but they've done hip hop, but they've given it a groove. Like when you watch Squatter Camp was a black group who tried to sound American, which was weird.
Even more, yeah.
Yeah, bro. That was a fire song. But they were like Double HP, R.I.P. He did hip hop with this groove.
With his own groove.
Yeah, bro. So like, AKA is dope. Also, it's like anyone who's representing us on a national level, Caspper, all these cats, anyone who's doing that shit is helping us, whether you're a rapper or not. Like they mean they mean a lot to South Africa, not just with their music, just with people looking at us in a different way.
Yeah.
You go overseas now and say you're a comedian because of Trevor Noah. Nobody goes, South Africa?
Nah, nigga.
They're just like, no, okay, cool. You either on or you
give you a
can't.
chance.
Yes, but it's not crazy to say you this person. I think the only problem with AKA and Caspper, both of them, is their beef. When something's so new, you shouldn't make people choose. You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like it's those two.
I think they both know that they've helped each other, bruh.
No,
They'll never say it out loud.
But imagine those two doing an album together. Bruh, game over. Get all the hottest producers here. Fucking game over. Those guys combining powers. Dude, it's next level, bruh. But they have helped each other, I think. I think the beef has also been good. But after a while, you go, okay, time out.
It's finished now, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're both over it now, bruh. What
No,
do you
they're
think?
cool.
Because
AKA went to his
you wanted to do fill up FMB, but you wanted $1 million, and AKA said, nah, you crazy, bruh.
Who wanted $1 million?
AKA to perform at fill up FMB. But like it was a cool gesture that he wanted to do fill up FMB. It was like, hey, let's quash the beef. This thing is bigger than us all. And then he quoted Caspper. This is also third-hand information from someone who actually follows these things.
Yeah.
And he said, AKA quoted him $1 million. And Caspper was like, nah, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, but I get AK's thing as well, bruh. Also, Casper's dope with just filling up the whole thing, but also I'd speak about it on stage. We don't look at Brenda Fassie was doing this in the 80s, my man.
Proper.
Just doing this shit without social media.
When they used to sell tickets at the stadium.
Yes. Yeah, you didn't have to line up to buy the thing. We don't know about lining up for shit, bruh. So she did it. This is a black woman in the 80s who couldn't vote. Doing things, selling out things without social media. And her headlining the thing, bruh.
Yeah.
Weekend special.
No poster, no nothing.
Dog, that, like, we almost, like, we skip a beat sometimes. Like, I get Caspper and I respect what he's doing. I'm not taking anything away. But he's also not the first.
Can I tell you a funny story about Brenda Fassie? When Brenda Fassie moved from Cape Town to Soweto,
Yeah.
she moved down the road.
Is she from Cape Town originally?
She's from Cape Town originally.
Oh, jeez. I didn't know that.
So even when I saw it in the documentary that she's from Cape Town, I was shocked. Because my uncle used to always tell us stories of Brenda Fassie living up the road. But she was still in school when she moved to Soweto. So she lived up the road from where I used to stay in
Was
Soweto.
she making music already in school?
Someone saw her in Cape Town. Was like, I don't know if it's Chico Twala or whoever. I don't know if that's him. But he was like, he spoke to Brenda Fassie's mother's like, hey, I'm going to bring this person up with us to Johannesburg. I'm a music producer. She has a good voice. She has the thing. And then they moved to Soweto. And she was still in school, and then she did gigs. She did gigs like at night or on the weekend.
Oh, wow.
And the funny thing is, my uncle used to polish Brenda Fassie's shoes when he was a kid.
That's so fire.
And the one day, a random Sunday, bruh, my parents left to go somewhere, and it was the first time I ever decided, nah, let me just stay at home. I chill with my granny. Later, my friends came to me. They're like, hey, bruh, Brenda Fassie's outside. We went outside. Brenda Fassie was around the corner with a convertible, like a green convertible car. And this must have been Bongani Fassie. This man must have been 12 or 14 at the time, playing her songs loud in the car. And she was just like lip syncing for us. And that the street was full surrounding Brenda Fassie, bruh.
That's so fire.
That was fire. That was dope, bruh.
Yeah, those stories are dope, man. I think, who's the first famous person I met? Hansi
Kronje.
Hansi and John T. Rhodes' wife used to coach hockey at the school my mom taught at. Every Friday got a signature of John T, bro. John T knew my brother and I, bro, by name.
That's fine.
And Patsum Cox. Spin bowler.
John D. Rhodes still alive.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Hansi Kronje is
He's
dead.
like, Hansi died. He plane accident. Hansi, shame. They took advantage of Hansi. Hansi was, Sessions in Duka, all those people were match fixing. They made example out of Hansi, bruh. They banned Hansi from any cricket, dog. Even in the yard.
Is this public information?
This is public information.
Okay.
Hansi couldn't be involved, bruh, in stadiums, anything.
No, the part that Sessions and Duka was also.
Yeah.
Sessions and Duka, South African or what?
Indian.
Okay.
He's like one of the greatest batsmen ever. He scored 100 centuries.
Do you know the thing about like South Africa that people must understand? I work for a state-owned company. Do not do research into what it is exactly. We think corruption is so bad in our guys. It's bad out there. Corruption in India, bruh.
Oh yeah, fucked up.
Corruption in Russia. Russia paid their own athletes.
Yes.
Russia orchestrated all the athletes to be dope, bruh.
They banned for the next 2 Olympics.
Bruh, did you see? I finally watched. What's this thing? Not Ozymandias. What's the thing? The guy went too close to the sun. Icarus. I finally watched Icarus. Bruh, like people hate in South Africa, and like we're being taught to hate our own country. Guys, this is the best country in the world. Corruption is at a minimal here in South Africa, guys.
And also the other thing with our corruption, say what you want, and these motherfuckers that say it was better in apartheid was just as corrupt. The only difference is we couldn't talk about it.
And the media was not allowed to talk about it.
So now, if the media was as free as what they are now, to talk about corruption back then, nobody would complain about it. It would be just a normal thing. Yeah.
Helen Zeller would have not stood out. So Helen was the only one who spoke out of 10, like she is now.
Helen, yo, bro. I've met her once before.
Uh-huh.
She looks like a cool auntie.
People are different people when they're at work, bruh.
Julius Malema, I think Pops and Momo Tebe and I met him 2 years ago. Nicest dude, bruh. In VIP. The Zone 6 in Soweto.
Yeah.
Cool dude, bruh. He recognized us from TV, chatted with him.
Oh, damn.
Chilled, bruh. Laughing, ordering drinks, all those things. And it was literally like maybe a 15-minute interaction. But you know when you see a person, you go, this person's cool. So I think
Julius is cool, bruh.
I think
I fucks with EFF.
But any leader is charismatic. I'm sure if you got Hitler by himself,
He was a dope guy,
he was a
bruh.
dope
Think of
motherfucker.
the Jewish guy. Hey, but you, bruh, your people, man. Hey, bruh.
I'm sure, bro. Like it sounds crazy. Donald Trump, I'm sure also say all of the things he says.
Dope guy, bruh.
To be a leader, you can't get so many followers. You can't get people to all of a sudden say, we're going to kill people for you because this is what you're telling us.
It's a skill.
It's a skill to get strangers. You're telling soldiers you probably haven't even shook their hands to believe what you believe. That's powerful, bruh. It's evil if it's done wrong, but it's fucking powerful.
And the funny thing is, most of us wish we had that ability. And we're not as evil as Hitler. We might be doing it for the good, but most of us wish we could do that. But you know the funny thing is, let's wrap it up, Bram.
Oh yeah, we're going.
We'll do us episode 2 in next season. Hitler did not believe that he was evil.
Obviously.
Hitler did what he did in the name of good, bruh.
Obviously. He had to believe it was good.
And people,
There's the level of delusion is crazy. He had to believe it was good, but he also had hype men. He must have had the craziest hype
people
men.
are like, yeah, man, I get what you're saying, bruh. These Jewish people, they like doing this. You're right, bruh.
Yeah, bruh.
These foreigners, they're stealing our jobs. You're right, bruh.
Also remember, to make these decisions and get them carried out, you must have people who vibe with what you're saying.
Yeah.
You have to, dude. I think I'm learning this year especially who I surround myself around.
Yeah.
Like, it's so important. Like, I think Michael Jackson's biggest downfall is having yes men.
But no one has snitched on him yet for what he did.
No, but I'm saying he had two. Michael Jackson's...
Or the thing that made him go broke.
Well, he didn't really go broke.
400 million in debt when he died.
Yeah, but when those guys are in debt, they're not broke. They've got money. You know what I'm saying? It's like when people file for bankruptcy and they're not broke. the way we will know broke. You know what I'm saying? When we broke, we
Still
broke.
has a nice house.
Yes, he's fine. He's still in a private jet. Michael Jackson never got broke to, he's in economy signing
I got to go
autographs.
see my mother quickly then.
Exactly.
Nah, I hear you, bruh. Like, for me, the thing is, like, the AKA thing that I bring up is, like, if it wasn't for someone like AKA that can make, like, South Africa be fine, like, with a colored person being in that position. And I understand, bruh, by no means of it, bruh. I'm perfectly fine with being led by black people. Because I understand that just the change that has to happen in society needs to be led by a black person.
Totally.
Nobody else, bruh.
Totally.
So for AKA to get in that space and to get to a place where, like, he's made South Africa a little bit less racial. Do you get what I'm saying? For, like, outwardly and, like, out loud proclaiming love for his country, proclaiming love for black people, proclaiming love for Africa. And, like, he's probably made, like, it possible for someone like Youngster CBT to dare make an album like he has and win Best Album of the Year or something like that.
Right.
South Africa was not ready for Youngster CPT 2 years ago.
Yeah, Young's had been around. Definitely. AKA performs with a South African flag on his mic stand.
Yeah, bruh.
No,
We
he's...
need that, bruh. We need to be more patriotic, bruh. I think...
That's one thing Americans will always kill us with, bruh. Even black Americans that have it the hardest are patriotic, bruh.
I don't get that, bruh.
They love their country.
I don't get how black Americans love America, bruh.
They love the hell out of their country. The ones that have it hard in America, and black Americans definitely do, Native Americans, bruh. Yo, Native Americans have it rough.
It's like they're not even, their struggles are not even televised.
But any native of any land has it the worst.
Like Khoisan people.
Khoisan, shame. Are they still camping outside the Union Building?
Is it called camping? You don't go camping if they're doing it, bruh. But it's like, let's not go there, bruh. Let's not go there.
That's a whole other conversation.
It's a whole other conversation. But anyway, it was fun having you. Robby's gonna be back on the next season.
Seasons, yeah.
I think I must do it a season at a time, bruh. This thing is so inconsistent. I'm gonna record a few now. It's December right now, but you all are listening to this in January.
Yes. What are your plans? What are you gonna do for Christmas? So then people can hear what you do for Christmas. Are you with the family?
I think I'm gonna be with my grandmother. My grandmother and my family, yeah. My grandmother hasn't been well, so we're very lucky to have her for Christmas, so can't be making any plans.
I get you. Also, Christmas Day specifically is just a day for family, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know how, like, I get some people, it's tough for some people. Not everybody is fortunate to have big families or family around them. Some people go to restaurants. I'm like, yeah, that must be hectic. Trevor told me once about spending Christmas in a restaurant by himself.
Yeah, that's it.
And
Me and
that's
Nini
like-
did it once, like 2 years ago. Like, my father's family, they got invited somewhere. My mother's family got invited somewhere. Everyone was just invited by other families, because sometimes families spend the thing together. And like, it was just me and Nini on our own.
Yeah.
We decided to book like a table at West Cliff. It was nice, bruh. It was,
Oh, that's dope.
but it was also like, yo, it's strange, bruh.
Right. I see it's 7 o'clock. I need a shower for our gig.
Oh, yeah. That was dope. Thank you guys for listening. If you've listened this far, I'm impressed with you.
Are you gonna put the whole thing out?
I'm putting the whole thing out, bruh.
Oh wait.
I think I'll cut up sections, but I'll also put the whole thing out.
Oh wait. Thanks for having me, bruh.
You do know you were being recorded, no?
Yeah, no.
So, Trevor's like, I told him that story in confidence. Bye-bye.
Bye.